The BD's World Podcast.
Has Nigeria happened to you? Is a platform where Nigerians are expected to come share their stories, a way of getting healed, a way of informing our society, a way of informing our government. This is actually what we're going through. But in a country like Nigeria, where people live in this mindset of, oh, let it go, and still we complain that Nigerians or Nigerian government is not living up to what is expected of them. Now, my question is this: how do you expect this government to do what they don't know? In a sense society, people register their displeasure. They register what they don't like. They speak. They protest. They do town hall meeting. But we don't have that culture here. Now, I am giving you a free platform. Come talk about your situation, your experiences. Is it good? Is it bad? How did Nigeria happen to you? Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? Bring it here. Let's talk about it. It's totally free. No one is charging you. And why are we doing this? So that we can relate and communicate with our leaders the way Nigeria is happening to us, the bad way, the good way, the ugly way. Yes, and by so doing it, they will know and know what we need. But unfortunately, a lot of Nigerians wouldn't want to talk, but yet we know how to complain. For how long will you complain? And for how long do you think that we will keep our governments in confusion because they don't even know what we want or what we're going through? If you don't speak, they will not know what we are going through. As Nigeria happened to you, is a platform created for you by BD Sword TV. Come here and let's talk about that situation, that thing that you have gone through. Say, oh, what? To educate people, to inform people, to enlighten people, and to start our process of healing. Yes. Do you know that when you go through some certain things and you've not been able to talk about it, you really talk about it, you will not get healed. And that's why we live in resentment, we live in pain, we live in aggression, because we've not really talked about it. So come here, sit with Vidi, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, let's discuss, let's enlighten people, let's educate people.
Has Nigeria happened to you? Has Nigeria happened to you? Real pain, real lessons. Share your story on the BD Story on the BD's World Podcast.
Yes.
Ordinary people, extraordinary survival. Keep watching because every story can change a life. You're on BD's World TV.
Yeah, I'm one of those extraordinary survivors. Yes, like you know. I lost a sister from another mother 2 months ago. What I call Nigerian happening to you. Yes, my sister, Blessing Okoli, who went in for a surgery and she died in that process. It hurts because I still remember that evening when she came out to my house and I packed my things. I drove her down to the hospital. You know the pain of driving down to a hospital with a sister, with a friend, and at the end, they're asking you to go alone. It hurts. Do you understand? That was Nigeria happening to you. Now, let me tell you how it actually happened to me, how the Nigeria happened to me. This same hospital, they are calling All Hospital. This is not the first time they are having this kind of experience they have with Blessing. In 2024, a young, promising man died in that hospital, and they covered it. They said because he is their church member. Yes. Another woman had the same close experience, and they covered it. If those people have spoken up, if they have said something, Blessing wouldn't have gone to that hospital and she would still be alive today. This is one of the reasons you need to come to Has Nigeria Happened to You platform and talk about your experience, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's talk about the good one so that we can celebrate them. One of the people we'll be talking about is a woman who Lutz saved her life. The same Lutz was the reason someone died. That's why we need to talk. Talk about the bad thing people have done. Talk about the good things people have done. Stop keeping quiet. You can't be keeping quiet and still you said, oh, the government are not doing anything. How will they do something? What do they know that they will do? Because you're not telling them anything. You're not saying anything. Has Nigeria happened to you? It's a program created by BD's World to help you.
Has Nigeria happened to you? Has Nigeria happened to you? Real pain, real lessons. Share your story on the BD Story on the BD's World Podcast.
Yeah, night, and I want to share my story. On 27th of March 2026, me and my sister drove to All Medical Center, Ableba, Lagos, for a surgery. Being the kind of person I am, I'm a very spiritual person. I feel things, I know things. When we got to that hospital, I did not like what I saw. And she noticed it, said, "Billy, don't worry. The man is good. I will like his work." But something in me was off. We went in. They showed us our ward. We went in and we slept. Very early in the morning on 28th of March, they came wake her up and that they're about taking her into the theater. So we rushed. When we were about entering the theater, that was when the doctor who's supposed to go in and operate on someone demanded for the scan she did. That was when I know there was a problem. Because I've seen people going for surgery. I've gone for surgery. A doctor's supposed to have gotten that scan, studied it for days, yes, and know what he's actually going in for. Just few minutes before they get into the theater was when the doctor demanded for the scan. I was like, what? And Sister Blessing said, don't worry, baby. The man is good. The hospital is good. What will I do? So she went in to the hospital. It took them like 4 to 5 hours. They finished the surgery. I throughout that surgery period, I stood for that 4 hours, going to 5 hours. I could not sit. The nurses were begging me, "Oh, auntie, come and sit in the reception." I said no. I stood right at the door of that theater. I was there because they didn't allow me to come inside. So I stood there for that 4 hours, going to 5 hours. And after the surgery, they brought her in. I went in. I was like, thank God. She wasn't looking good when they brought her. Foam were coming out from her mouth. You know, I told the doctor, don't say I should be calling her name. I kept calling her Angie, 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 Angie. She started doing well. We were there because the hospital have their theater downstairs and their ward is upstairs. So we were there. I was just watching her. The way she was breathing was not okay. Well, it's okay. The surgery is like near death journey. Do you understand? So we were there. She was coming back, coming back, coming back. I was talking to her. She was nodding. She was shaking her hands. I knew she was okay. So 4 hours after that, it came that they want to give her Milo and milk, which I objected. I said, how can you give somebody you just operated on that kind of surgery? It's a major surgery. Milk and Milo. They said that's how they do here. That should allow them to do their work. So a particular lady, Len Oloma, who actually introduced my sister to that hospital, that came in that period. I was to say, hey, leave them. That's how they do. Even when I did my here, they gave me the same thing. I said, what? Like 7, 8 people against one person. What can I do? They had their way. They gave it to her. Then 6 hours from the time they did that surgery on her to that hour, they said she has to walk upstairs. I shouted, I said, don't you have a stretcher? They said they don't have. Don't you have a wheelchair? They said they don't have. She has to walk upstairs. I said, what? God, what will I do? Because where they kept her at the theater, the small bed at the theater is not even looking good. We have to get up to our ward, which is upstairs. This theater is downstairs. I was just watching them. I don't even, I want to watch and see what they can do. They helped her, she walked, oh God, and got upstairs to lie down. She was still in pain. I thought, okay, it's one of those things. Someone who went in for such kind of surgery, she'll be fine, she'll get better with time. That day went, the next day, she was still in pain. It's second day, she was still in pain. I was like, this pain is not going down. Why? The third day. Instead of the pain to get down, her stomach started swelling up. Her stomach started swelling up. Yes, that's how Nigeria happened to me. Her stomach started swelling up. And because of the environment of the hospital and everything I saw, I must be frank with you, I was suspecting, I don't know, something I was saying, are you sure these people are not organ harvesters? And I started demanding for scan. I asked doctor, let's do a scan, let's find out why she's still in pain 3 days after surgery, why her stomach has started swelling up. The doctor told me, no, don't worry, she'll be okay. The thing at the back of my mind, are these people organ harvesters? I was not even expecting anything. The doctor said I should.
Has Nigeria happened to you? Has
Asking them,
Nigeria happened to you? Real pain, real lessons. Share your story on the BD Story on the BD's World podcast.
Yes, Nigeria has happened to me, and my story is what I'm trying to narrate now to Nigerians. Do you understand? I kept begging the doctor to carry out a scan. Let's find out why she's still in pain 3 days after the surgery, and why is it that her stomach has just started swelling up. The doctor refused. It became like a routine for me. Every time, anytime, any minute, any day I see the doctor, please they do scan. She's still in pain. Her stomach is swollen up. I said that enough. Greenish things started coming out from her stomach. I became so worried. It became so intense that anywhere I see the doctor, I go to his office, anybody, let's do a scan, let's do a scan. The doctor and I said, Nigerian thing, it's common with us. You want to teach me my job? I don't want to do the job. Can I leave it for you? So I said, no, I'm not teaching you your job. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical personnel, I'm not trying to do your job. I don't want to do it. But I just want to be sure she's okay. Let's do the surgery and be sure she's okay. The doctor refused. It's continued. Blessing remained in pain. The pain was too much. It was massive. If she farts here, the whole house would be polluted, smelling like, oh God. I was so worried. I was so worried. I kept begging the doctor. The doctor refused. Sometimes 2, 3 days we will not see the doctor. Before I say traveled, I was like, I called him one of you. I said, Doctor, how can you be traveling with this kind of case? My sister is dying and you're not always around here. Why don't you do a scan? Let's find out what is wrong. Say, she'll be okay. I said, that's what you kept telling me every day. This is the 7th day, 8th day. This man was not around. I tried to get to some of our brothers. I said, let's remove her here. Let's move her out of here. The other person said, oh, just leave her. If she's in pain, she will listen to me. I said, you will not understand. The other one said, oh, you're escalating this. It's not as bad as you're making it look. I said, but you're not here. I'm the one with her in the hospital. You're not even in Lagos and you're telling me I'm escalating it. If you're here and telling me I'm escalating, I will believe you. You're not here and you're telling me I'm escalating it. I am the person here with her. That was how. So on the 9th day, when a particular doctor, because the doctor is not always around, other doctors, visiting doctors, cover up for him. When a particular doctor called Dr. Innocent came and then started asking, you know the thing, in that hospital, they don't even have file folder for patients. None. When they come to treat you, they treat you with bare hand, no gloves. So when a particular doctor came and then started asking, it not done on me that, am I the one that will explain to doctor what is happening to my sister? You're supposed to have a folder where you will read what is happening to patients who have come to take care of. I explained to him, and I said, have you put on a scan? I said, no, I've been begging them since 28 that we should. And I said, the nurse should give us letter for a scan. Now, some people are saying, oh, you're begging them. She underwent a major surgery. You can't just carry her and go to another hospital. They will not accept her, except with a referral letter. Unless you have a brother or a sister that is a doctor who said, bring her. If not that, you can't just carry her. They've opened her up and go to another hospital. They will not take her. For me to correct sometimes, they say, oh, you're still begging them. Yes. They have to give you a referral letter before another hospital will accept her. Yes. So the nurse was like, hey, call the doctor. I now follow her now. I said, what is wrong with you? Give me that paper now. They gave me, and they sent me to a particular scan center. When we got there, those people say, they've not been doing scan for over 2 years. And the hospital knew. And the nurse now said, we should go back to the hospital. I said, I cannot try that. For having come out today with this letter, I must do this scan. And I took her to another center, clinic center. That was where we did the scan. And after the scan, do you understand? They gave us they gave me the reports. Immediately they gave me the report. One nurse rushed me and said, please take her back to the hospital right now. Don't even waste time. Take her, there's emergency. And that was when I now opened results, and I read it. The left object in her stomach, the scissors. And I read the film and I saw the scissors there, sitting in her abdomen. God, I shouted. I drove her back to the hospital because all this period I was telling them, do scan, I was still telling them to refer us. Because on the 3rd of April, I went to a First General Hospital because they have her reports there. And I went to show them my sister and said, look at her picture. Can I bring her here? They said no, and I can't bring her. That this is sepsis. That I should take her to Lutz, Lasut, or FMC. That's the only 3 hospitals that can accept such emergency. When I got to the hospital that day, I begged her to refer us. The doctor refused. Said they are not referring us, that my sister will be fine. I said, you keep telling me she'll be fine, and she keep getting worse day by day. Do you understand? Now, when I brought her that day back with the scan results, and I told them, can you refer? Because 5 days before we went to that scan, they stopped giving her food, stopped giving her water. So I said, they say no, they have to take her into the theater for another surgery. I said, what? I said, she's weak. She can't withstand any other surgery. They said no.
Has Nigeria happened to you? Has Nigeria happened to you? Real pain, real lessons. Share your story on the BD Story on the BD's World podcast.
Nigeria has happened to me. So I told them to refer that she's weak, she can't withstand this second surgery. They said no. They rushed her into the theater and removed that scissors. They removed that scissors. You know, I had a mixed feeling because when they were taking her into that theater the second time, I was weak. I was fear. For the first time, my sister, when she went into, maybe I wasn't expecting she was going to die. Maybe I would have known, because when she went into surgery the first time, she did not give me her PIN number. She did not give me anything. But when she was going in for that second, she gave me her phone PIN number. Do you understand? And so when she came out, I was happy. She has gone in the second time I came out. So the next day, I was expecting that her stomach will go down. The pain will stop. It did not stop. So a particular nurse who has been on leave came back, resumed, said, Auntie, are you still like this? I said, yes. So even yesterday, we went in for another surgery. She said, what? I said, people left scissors. She shouted. She said on that 28th of March, when they had the first surgery, that after the surgery, they were looking for that scissors. They have to search, even the fibroid, because she went in for a fibroid surgery. The fibroid they brought out from her small, they'll have to count it, looking for that scissors. Now, my question to all medical center, Dr. Biodo, you were looking for a scissors, and someone was in pain 7, 8, 9 days after your surgery. Stomach was swelling up, and I was begging you to do scan, as if my life depended on that scan. Rather, you were making jest of me, asking me if I want to teach you your job. That was what it said. So when we came back from after that, I thought the next thing they resulted in putting my sister in oxygen. So in one of those oxygen nights, we were there around 2 a.m. in the midnight. The lights went off. I said, please, they should put on gen. They say it's gen that went off. I said, please, put fuel. They said they don't have the fuel. So what's going to happen? They said we're going to wait till in the morning. They buy fuel, or if NEPA return lights this night. That was when I became a angry woman. I said, refer me now, or we'll burn down this hospital. That was how they now brought letter and started writing. They said they are referring us to Abuleba, Ile-Ipo General Hospital. I asked them, what am I going to do in Ile-Ipo General? They said it's late. This is 2 a.m. in the midnight. I said, send me to Lasut. And I write it to Lasut. Now, who is going with us? How many doctors, how many nurses? They said, nobody is going with us. I said, this is midnight, 2 a.m. midnight. Am I going to drive her alone from here, from Abuleba to Ikeja, under bridge? He said, that's what it. Now, the doctor on strike, on duty, now said, I can't go with you people. What if there's emergency? I said, is this not an emergency? Are you going to hospital? Bring ambulance, take us and hand over us to another hospital. They said they are not going. Now, do you know what they did? There's a catechol on my sister that is giving her strength and drip. They went into my car, removing those catechol and those drip. The video is here. Go to my page, you see everything I'm telling you. I have all the evidence. They are in my page. Go, you see everything. Trying to remove it. I started shouting. They ran away from my car. That was how I drive my sister to Ikeja last week. Nigeria happened to us. Yes.
Has Nigeria happened to you? Has Nigeria happened to you? Real pain, real lessons. Share your story on the BD Story on the BD's World podcast.
Yes, Nigeria happened to us when we got to Lash. They said there is no, we got to surgical emergency. They said there is no bed. I was begging, pleading with them. Can you treat her in my car? We'll have wrappers. So can we put it on the floor here? You can treat her. They said no, that we can't drop her here. We started making call. Another thing, we don't value human life. Emergency, we don't have it. We don't know what is emergency. Because if we value human life, we know what is emergency. At the time they see us, they would have started rushing. We didn't get that. Do you understand? We now make call, they now refer to Anyike. We now got bed there. When we got there, they ran another scan. They said we got her with sepsis, a lot of bacteria. Why won't there be bacteria? After the second surgery in our medical center on 7th of April, they left that opening